Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com, and we're delighted you're here. We broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains, and there's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. Podcasts are free. John is engineering in the broadcast at Genesis Communications Network in Minnesota. And for those of you who are new to our broadcast classroom, there are about 250 of us here at USAPrepares.com, experts in various areas. We are innovators, dentists, medical doctors, engineers, surgeons, CEOs, broadcasters, editors, researchers, physicists, farmers, inventors, and none of us is capable of holding down a job. I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor, and he starts out with the title of senior instructor, of which there are very few here at USAPrepares.com. He's broadcasted nationally. You've heard him on many of the largest broadcasts in the world. His name is Cliff High. He is the inventor, the developer, the originator of the WebBot project. His website, halfpasthuman.com. And his current project we are discussing is called Asymmetric Linguistic Trends Analysis. Welcome, Cliff High.
Very much. Glad to be here.
I'm delighted you're with us this morning. Cliff, your report, your analysis, I've got it in my hands. It's well over 30 pages, and it discusses various things that the web is telling you through your proprietary algorithms and technology. Can you just take a minute or two and tell us what this technology is, what the probability of the forecast being correct are, and then let's go right into what you see happening.
Sure, no problem. I started this in 93. I had my software up and running in 1997. I did my first run then. I started perfecting it over time. It works on the theory that all humans are psychic, and 99% of us are not aware of it when it's occurring, but something from universe prompts us. And so we express that. We've got to get it out so we can go about our business. And I think that it shows up in our language choices. I can go into detail then if it's pertinent, but you just step outside your usual lexicon and use words that you don't normally do, and it's universe prompting you, and it has some prescience to it. And so my software goes out and gathers all of these prescient little bits off of all of the discussions we are all having on the Internet and aggregates them into a large trend forecast. And so it's broken up. I use everything at the interpretation level is done in what's known as fuzzy set theory or set theory logic. And so everything is chunked up into more or less related groups. And so, for instance, we view the world as being broken up into the actual physical part, the terra entity, we call it, for the planet. We have the population split up. First, it's in a large set called global pop, and then it splits up into the various large regions. And so we have USA pop, Brazil population, and so on. And we, I go ahead and provide a breakdown of what we have as trends within the data sets for these various little sets. As we go further and further down, you can obviously break set theory down into minutia, but we don't go that far. We just take it down to what we think are practical lumps. and provide some trends as to what's likely to happen to the USA pop or to the global population as a whole. And it's all based on a proprietary thing I call the emotive reduction engine, which assigns quantitative and qualitative values to human emotions. Bearing in mind they're a guess, and I sort of invented this stuff in '93, as I said, and have been perfecting it all along. But we're still a long way from having this be anything close to astoundingly accurate. But here's our situation: we're better than chance by at least twice. And when we're accurate, sometimes we are quite spectacularly so, because what we have a tendency to get is descriptions of the language that will be used about an event ahead of that event occurring. So we don't really get a discussion within the data of or description of a catastrophe. It's more like we get the description of the news lines and the headlines and the discussion after the catastrophe as everybody relates to it and releases all that emotion. Sort of makes sense?
Sure it does. And so, Cliff, please tell us what your emotive reduction engine is saying about Terra, right
well,
at this moment. What should we be concerned with?
An expansion period within the planet. I've seen this since 1997. It got me thinking about the planet Earth in an entirely different way, seeing the results in the data. We're not going through climate change or any of that kind of thing. There's an underlying process that's ongoing that's a very long process, probably a 100,000-year cycle. And we're in the midst of one of these cycle turning points, if you will. So we're going to go through an expansion of the planet. Planet Earth is actually getting larger underneath our feet, as are all the planets in the solar system. And this is occurring because of the extra energy coming from the sun smashing down through us all and getting trapped in the inner cores of the planet, where it has to do something, so it converts to matter and causes the planet to grow from the inside. A lot of proof of this coming out now. In any event, so we're going to go through really rather spectacular or dramatic changes within the planet. We haven't really even seen the beginning of this, and over the next couple of 100 years, I'm sure we'll see how it's going to mature. But say for the next 30 years, we're in a very we're in a period of abrupt change, where we'll see a reaction, and then a sort of a calm period, and then a reaction. So we might see a period where we have dozens of volcanoes go off, and then for a few years volcanoes settle down, and something else occurs, splitting in the bottom of the ocean, that kind of thing. But we're going to get new lands rising in the ocean. Ocean levels are going to change as a result, but not horrifically so. It's not like the oceans are going to wash over the lands. However, there are going to be sea changes that are going to be difficult to deal with as new lands come on up and displace water. And this is just a part of a natural process that's ongoing throughout the entire process of the Earth's life.
As you say that, I'm thinking about a question that we have from one of our instructors on the East Coast. He lives in New Jersey, and he's concerned about is there parallel information indicating the lowlands of the East and the West Coast of the U.S. being submerged, as shown in the U.S. Navy map or Edgar Casey's map?
There's information about them being overcome by water, but I don't use the word submerged because that implies a permanency. You have to understand that you're dealing with somebody who spent a lot of time tuning language. So in my model sense, I'm very particular about how language is defined. So yes, we see that there's going to be a lot of damage to low-lying areas, especially from superstorm surges that are going to hit us over these next 5 years. We have some significant problems with slough-off, if you will, on the West Coast. Where big chunks of land are going to go sliding into the water, but it's not like a whole state is going to go. So no, we won't end up with an Edgar Casey kind of a map in our lifetimes insofar as what my data shows. However, we're going to have a lot of years where it will be very hazardous to live in a lot of areas that are low-lying, correct?
Okay, so is part of what you're talking about the snow melts? Is that what you're saying? These, for example, the snowstorm that the East Coast is starting to experience?
No, that's more of a temporary condition. That's going to affect us this year, but over time, the storms that we're going to be dealing with will be changing their patterns. So right at the moment, for instance, we might just in this year be seeing the first turn from a southern storm track to a northern storm track. So on the East Coast of the U.S., whereas typically we might be more concerned about hurricanes in the southern regions. We're going to change our concern to basically hurricanes in the northern regions or giant nor'easters as the climatic changes actually settle in. The snowmelt kind of stuff, that's weather. That's something that's going to affect us this year. It's going to be nasty. There's going to be all kinds of flooding, both inland and from the coast, from the storms we're going to get hit here with through end of January and through February. But over time, it's probably going to be much worse 4 years from now.
When you talk about the global pop, is there anything else that we should put in the fore of our minds to prepare for what's coming?
There's all kinds of stuff, yeah. In terms of the Terra entity, one of the things we've seen over the last few years has been the alteration of the sun and its output no longer being yellow, but is in fact white, which gets us up to the point where we're seeing more and more of what are known as actinic or burning rays. So our relationship with the sun is going to change over these next couple of hundred years as we go forward into basically what's going to be an ice age. And then when we come out of that, we should be reasonably fine. Over the next 60 years or so, we'll be getting into a progression where the intensity of everything is going to continue to ramp up as we've seen it in the past few years. But in the past, say, 15 years of change, the changes we've seen have been spasmodic. Over the next 15 or 20, they'll be much more regular, much more continuous, and so much more grinding in a sense.
And for what about USA Pop? That's we're
well,
talking
we've got
about
some
people who
significant
live in the United
changes
States.
there. I mean, we're a large group. We're diverse. We've got everything in the data sets from large immigration waves leaving USA or North America regions to hyperinflation to nuclear disasters. All of these kind of things showing up. In a pretty good clip, as I say, over these next, let's say, 10 to 15 years. Real steady over the next 4.
You know, as you mentioned hyperinflation, I'm thinking about the cost of parts. I was on the phone with several of our instructors over the last few days, and I'm a farmer, and many of us have enterprises that, or we're entrepreneurs, and we're seeing the cost of parts going up, and we're seeing the wear of our machinery increasing at an increasing rate. And we also think that our lives are being burned faster than ever before. Can you address that when we come back?
Sure, yeah, no problem, yeah.
Okay. Cliff High's with us, halfpasthuman.com. And I've got the report right in front of me, the Asymmetric Linguistic Trends Analysis. You can get it too. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. 888-4885 or go to selectquote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
There's nothing more enticing and intoxicating than the finest meat cooking on an open flame. Freeze-dried meat from NewHarvest.com is U.S. grown, 100% all-natural with no extra fillers. Just grass-fed beef and free-range chicken guaranteed to stay fresh and delicious. Add New Harvest freeze-dried meats to your current food storage. You'll buy direct from the factory, not a third party, ensuring the best price and the highest quality. See all our products at NewHarvestFoods.com. That's NewHarvestFoods.com.
Class, Cliff High is with us. Cliff High. And he's starting out as a senior instructor. That happens very, very rarely here at usaprepares.com. I'm delighted to be broadcasting with him. And if you'd like to go to his website, halfpasthuman.com. And when I was talking with Cliff last night, I asked him about how to subscribe, if there is a subscription to this service, and there is none. Cliff, please tell us why very quickly.
Just because I don't want to be in a situation of owing anyone for undelivered product, and we're pretty certain that things are going to be disruptive for our ability to continue to deliver our work. Because bear in mind that I depend upon a healthy internet, if you will, and so when things get a little bit dodgy here in the future, there will be times I will just be out of work for a while simply because we won't have the ability to get our data sets.
Mm-hmm. And this is exactly the opposite of the Wall Street model, where they'll take your money and promise you things that they cannot deliver anyway. Cliff, we talked about the sun going from yellow to white. Now, my science classes of elementary school taught me that yellow is nowhere near as hot as white. Is that why we feel this burning through our clothing from the sun? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. In the very first part of the very first run I ever did in my software, which was aimed at my making money off of the stock market, because it was just a good idea. I thought I wanted to play with it. I had no idea it would be prescient in general. I was aiming for a product at the time in the 1970s. What was a stock called SUN, S-U-N, for Stanford University Network Computing. And so I was going to track that. That was my first target. And, Universe had me choose that as a target because I got so much data about the sun, the big giant scary ball in the sky, that I gave up dealing with the stock market stuff and went on to this fascinating journey that has led me to where we are today. And indeed, I came across this stuff that I called the sun disease as early as 1999, and it has two components: the changes in the sun and then their impact upon humans and our response to it. And so, yes, you're quite correct. correct. You feel different in the sun now than you did as a child if you lived under the yellow sun as I did. If Superman showed up today, he wouldn't have any powers because our sun is white. But we also do have, as you note, the parts wearing out quicker and things changing. It's having a mutagenic effect on plants and animals, just by the way, as we have Monsanto out there cranking away GMO and so on. So it's a confluence of events that are put in the path of humans as a challenge for us to figure out what to do and how to learn and overcome and adapt and get beyond these circumstances. And you're quite correct. Our sun disease is in fact ramping up in our data. It's showing that for well into 2025, we're going to have this hot period, if you will, as we get into different changes within the sun. The sun sends out energy in such a fashion, gamma rays and so on, that lots of it not only penetrates your skin, it goes right through you, and then it'll penetrate the skin of the planet, and it gets caught, in my opinion, in the middle of the planet, because the center of the planet is a plasma ball and not a nickel iron molten sphere. I think that what we've been told is in most of our science classes is inaccurate at best and an outright lie at worst. In any event, it causes new matter to be created, and this process is harsh. It can be considered that we're living in a much more reactive world at the moment, where new materials are being created in the middle of it. It's going to have to expand its crust to accommodate the new materials. We're going to get all kinds of strange effects coming up from below that are directly related to the sun over our head, as well as atmospheric effects. And it's curious that you bring up the issue of the parts wearing out, because the energies that are coming out from the sun are affecting everything, all matter totally. And we have definitive scientific, if you will, officialdom proof of this, because in 2003, scientists all around the planet in various different formats all announced that they'd discovered, lo and behold, the radioactive decay rate of carbon-14 had altered. I think you may vaguely remember running across articles about radioactive materials decaying at a new rate. If you did, that was basically a sign, a confirmation that the sun had changed, because it was putting out energies that are causing these changes in the radioactive decay rates.
And we've announced here at USA Prepares that we have seen an accelerated rate of failure and decay of rubber hoses, hydraulic devices, engines. We've seen an increase in fuel consumption and wear out. So,
yeah, we're bound to get more of it too.
Yeah, we'll be right back right after these few short commercial announcements.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
How would you like to make 17% on your money in only 90 days? That's right. Gold owners made 17% in only 3 months as gold had its best quarterly gain in 30 years. Gold is on the move, and you need to get government-issued, legal tender gold coins starting at only $139 each. The U.S. Money Reserve, one of the largest gold distributors in the country, announces the first ever at-cost gold release on this station for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD or online at usmoneyreserve.com. Official U.S. government-issued legal tender solid gold coins at cost for only $139 each. Call 1-866-944-GOLD. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book. Plus, get a free Walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book all about gold. Remember, gold is on the move, up 17%. Call 1-866-944-GOLD.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682. 1682.
Cliff High's with us. Cliff, how do we get your report? Cliff, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just had a momentary glitch.
Okay, how do we get your report?
You can go to halfpasthuman.com, and I keep the latest report at the very top of the very first page. It's and then a link that takes you over to order it. If you want to order any of the last reports going back years, they're all listed on that order page. Plus, I should note that if you go down a little bit on our main page at halfpasthuman.com, look for a thing that says read old articles here. And I've got articles about my process and some of our data and things going back probably 20 plus years. So there's a big, I don't know if you want to call it a treasure trove, but there's a lot of stuff to read if you want to get into it. But before we leave the subject of the sun changes and things, one thing to note for humans in terms of a basic pragmatic sort of a question here that actually goes to many of your advertisers, and that is the idea of how do we respond to this? As thinking aware individuals, we become aware the sun is changing, our planet is changing under our feet. What should we do? And I've puzzled this for a number of years. And one of the things I've come across is the idea of harmonization, biomimicry. If it's going on as a natural process, I'm assuming that, well, I need to participate, and I will participate whether I like it or not, because the sun's changing and I can't do a lot about that. But one thing I can do is to harmonize with that process and do those things that would aid me in integrating into what's going on. And so I make a note that 98.5% of the human body is composed of 5 elements. These same 5 elements make up 98.5% of the surface of the Earth and the atmosphere. And so those changes that are going to affect those elements, I should allow to affect myself. And so I'm a vegetarian, but I'm an ovo-lacto vegetarian, and so I'm very particular about these kind of things. But I'm making a point of, if there's going to be changes to the food body of the planet, then I need to get involved with those changes and not try and stave them off, if you will. So I want to integrate with the process that's ongoing and adapt to it, as opposed to try and resist it. Make sense?
It absolutely does, and that is the process that I'm going through right now. And I've talked with a number of our instructors off the air, and I've used the term that, Cliff, I'm a farmer. I raise Black Angus cows. I used to have a job back in the 1980s. I haven't had one since. And so I look up and I look down and I see what's going on, and I'm very, very concerned. So concerned that I have said that I am operating at one level below panic to prepare for what I feel is coming. And what I feel is coming is absolutely in concert with what your research says. So are you operating at a level that is a very heightened concern to prepare for the future as well?
A high intensity. I don't like the word panic because it implies you don't have a plan and you're running around.
I agree. I agree. That's why I said one level below that.
Yeah, I'm at ready, and I'm actually taking advantage of the period of chaos. Chinese have a saying, in chaos there is opportunity. And that's quite true. We're at a huge shift in not only the global situation of the planet under our feet, but also the world of humanity. And if that world's been dominated by finances for the last 50 years as we've gone into this financialization, and that's all coming unglued. As it comes unglued, we're going to see the greatest wealth transfer that has occurred in probably several hundred generations, probably since the last time that Rome went out and sacked a country to steal their gold. We haven't seen anything that's going to be as close to that as what is yet coming. And a lot of it's going to hit us this year. And so I'm making and dealing with all of those preparations that can be done now, because there will come a point in these next 4 years where many of the things I would wish to do simply will not be available to me due to the collapse of the trade system, all different kinds of things going on, hyperinflation and so on, which we're already seeing in my neighbors to the north here in Canada. They're paying $51 for a gallon of Tide detergent, and then my data is forecasting that might go to several $100s Canadian before the end of this year for such common goods. It's all come to a point where we have to understand the history of everything in terms of what got us here in order to get a grasp of the bigger picture. But in a nutshell, what has occurred is a shadow banking system built on the idea of derivatives has grown up, totally unregulated, to the point where it now exceeds the real markets. And even those are very much illusionary, with bets in the future on what might or might not happen. But all of the, quote, real markets are exceeded by derivatives by about 6 to 7 times in total volume. So it's truly a case of a dog with an elephine tail that's wagging the whole animal and shaking it in midair. And no matter what we do or what attempts are made to control the real markets, it no longer makes any difference. We've entered a period of time where the derivatives are out of control. They've gone beyond a normal oscillation. The pendulum is swinging so violently it's breaking the clock. And we have to go through this process. And it's occurring in this year. So your listeners, our North American brethren here, as well as everybody mostly in the Northern Hemisphere, although it'll strike in Southern Hemisphere as well. But we're going to get hit by hyperinflation that's going to be quite staggering. And it's going to be truly unique because it's going to be global. It's not going to be like the Weimar Republic where you could walk over from Germany into France and not be in a period of hyperinflation, or leave Zimbabwe and go to Nigeria and not be in hyperinflation. This is going to be global, and it's going to be quite devastating. And we're there now. So it's the little tiny gasp of air that is indrawn after the exclamation that we're in that point right now. So the stock market's crashing here or starting their downward turn in the very first part of the year was the big gasp, and now everybody's drawn in their breath a little bit, and it's like, and you're waiting for that next occurrence, and so I'm trying to move in that period of time in that indrawn breath.
Mm-hmm. Are you suggesting that the supply chain will be disrupted and those parts that we need, the bearings, the grease, the hoses, the hydraulic fittings, the seals, the things that make our society work that we don't even think about, are you saying that they are going to be harder to get and may not be available?
If they're imported, that's certainly the case. We're going to go through a transition period where our natural native tendency towards invention and replacement will rise to the fore, but there's going to be a number of years where indeed we'll be running low on supplies. Basically, what's going to happen to the planet happened to Cuba when the Russian Empire, when the Soviet Empire collapsed and Russia became Russia. At that time, Cuba was totally cut off and 80% of its money disappeared almost overnight. And so these people, because they were isolated, they were a perfect experiment for what the whole world's going to go through at some degree. Mm-hmm. And they had to invent and reuse and repurpose and reinvent so many times that they became absolute experts at it. And you'll note that they did things that made a lot of sense. They converted all of their cities into farms, basically growing food everywhere they could because they could no longer afford food imports. And in that process, they've become one of the greenest places on the planet relative to things like, the city heat maps and so on. So they did things out of necessity that turned out to have really good long-term benefit. Many of these things are coming to us too, but we've got to get through the suffering part first.
One of our instructors traveled to Cuba, and she was saying that that families were raising pigs in the bathtubs, for food, literally. Yes. And I know that people used pipes. They made piston rings out of pipes, homemade piston rings for the 1940s models cars to keep them running because no new cars were coming to Cuba. You're absolutely right. Okay, so hyperinflation is going to be something we're very concerned with. Does that mean that if we need it, we ought to get it right now?
If it can be stored, that's my personal opinion. I don't want to cause anybody to, get into a state of panic about things, but we are indeed in a period where our data is showing that imports are going to fall off due to what's going to happen to the dollar in March and April. Now, I had originally thought last year that the forecast was looking at a big stock market crash in the U.S. in March and April, and we may indeed have that. But the recent data sets are pointing more to it being a real problem with the USA dollar taking a giant move in March and April from its current highs way down and causing all kinds of disruptions. And we're already at a point where the shipping across the planet is breaking down and trade is breaking down anyway. And we all live in a just-in-time supply system that was devised by this guy by the name of Peter Drucker in the 60s. And it makes sense in a totally functioning world, but in a world that has high risk, it does not, because you don't have local warehousing the way we used to in my youth, where we'd have maybe 15 or 20 days worth of supplies for a city in that city itself, as opposed to on trucks, bound to it. And so that just-in-time supply system distribution channel is all going to break down. We're all going to have to live through all kinds of shortages of those sorts of things that are delivered, especially via imports. Now, the good news about this is that we're not going to stop. We're not going to just be still. People are going to, especially if they lose their job and they're in this mass layoff and there's needs, you will see people turn in the U.S. back to an inventive and, we're going to have a renaissance. It's been in my data for a number of years. There's going to be an inventive renaissance here in the U.S. like nothing we've ever seen in before, and it's going to be part of one that goes around the whole world and is multiplying off of each other. So it's going to be something like we've never experienced before. Sort of the reverse of this negative hard time is going to be a growing period, but it'll be in the midst of all of this suffering and directly as a result of it. So we will be inventive. We'll come back. Farmers are going to actually rise well up in esteem because of what's going to happen as a result of the need for local produce. And in many senses, our society is about to do a flip in terms of who's on top. And we'll see people like in the financial empires and stuff end up back down on the bottom the way they were in the 1940s and 50s. And it's going to be a rather horrific time for a lot of people that are currently part of the power system. And that power system can be expected to try and do anything it can to survive, and that's where we're at right now.
Cliff High's with us, halfpasthuman.com. And Cliff, what does your report cost?
$15 US, or I also take
$15. Yeah, $15 US. If you'd like to get a copy, the same one I have, and you can get future copies as well. $15. halfpasthuman.com. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
You've woke up to the deception. You understand how big government and corporations are controlling you. Guess what? The trail goes even deeper. When you want to learn the full truth, visit toolsforfreedom.com. We take you further into uncovering the conspiracy than you've ever been before. Click toolsforfreedom.com. Use coupon code RADIO to get a free DVD today. Or call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Toolsforfreedom.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Purchase a ProPure system during the Crazy May sale and get a free ProMax shower filter or water filter pitcher. Remove up to 200 contaminants with the Pro 1G 2.0 truly cleanable, reusable filter. We don't stretch our claims, we just deliver performance. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-941-5257. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-941-5257. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-941-5257. That's 1-800-941-5257.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Class, Cliff High's with us, and his website, halfpasthuman.com. If you'd like to get a copy of this report, it's right there. And future reports as available, same location, halfpasthuman.com. Cliff, a couple quick things I'd like to talk about, but one is the nuclear disasters, if you have any more information on hyperinflation. But Joey from Michigan had a question, and his question was one that I'm sure many people would like to ask. Where should we go? Is there one location that's better than another? Is Michigan better than Missouri, or is Missouri better than Michigan, or California, or the East Coast, or in the mountains, or where? Do you have a thought?
I get that question a lot. It's very difficult to answer because it comes down to personal fate. Your personal fate in Denver might be very bad, but your personal fate in Michigan, which might suffer some kind of catastrophe in general, might be very good. In my way of thinking, universe places us where we can learn the most and do the most good to help people. So frequently I tell people that are afraid to travel or whatever but have to go, or wish to relocate, that universe is going to take care of putting you where it thinks you need to be. And so my advice is really, I think, presumptuous and really not necessarily beneficial to anyone. Plus, if I say, well, it looks like so-and-so place is going to do really well, someplace in Oregon or Montana or something, then maybe lots of people will move there and change the nature of things. One thing I've learned in the 20-plus years of dealing with future forecasting is that universe will have its surprises. And the more we are fixated on a particular kind of an outcome, the more that outcome will not happen. So I just have a tendency to say, sorry, I can't answer that in a meaningful fashion for an individual.
Okay. Quick question. And are we the remnant, those who are listening and preparing and researching and studying and planning and acting on those items of research and planning? Are we the remnant, in your opinion?
No, we're the leaders. The way humanity works is that about 75% of humanity just basically is out for, they don't understand why they're here. They're not really paying that much attention. And you went to school with these guys. Unfortunately for them, they have to react to the planet the way the rest of us do. And no, we're the those people that are preparing and so on, we're the ones that are leading us all into the next turning of the planet, into what's coming. This shift we're coming through a primary shift that's going to hit us in so many different ways that 15 years from now, you will think the conditions you're living under then, if you look back, you'll think those were two separate planets, two separate experiences in two separate lives. It's going to be that different, and we're going to be out there leading, even us old guys, as long as you've got the wherewithal mentally, you'll be the one blazing the trail.
Nuclear disasters. You'd mentioned that. I'd like to come back to that before we run out of time, and we only have a couple minutes.
Yeah, we're really set up for them. Okay, we went through a period in the 40s and the 50s in early 60s where we went crazy building nuclear reactors all around the planet under a certain assumption that was not valid, and now we're going to have to deal with those because we never planned how to deal with decommissioning them and so on. Plus, we had not anticipated the expansion of the planet that's going to do some rather odd things, like make rivers move to new courses. So you might suddenly find yourself in Missouri receiving the output of a river from Tennessee if things shift badly enough. And while that might be good for you watering your crops, it's not going to be too good for the nuclear power plants that used to depend on that river for they're cooling waters. So our data for a long time has held that in the southeast, we're going to see a river change course such that multiple nuclear power plants are affected, and it'll cause some level of migration away from that area. Now, new hints in our long-term data that'll probably be in this next report or the one after it are going to the idea that recent changes in scientific understanding may be leading us over these next 10 years to a way to deal with nuclear radiation.
What a fast hour.
It disappeared, yes.
Cliff High, I really want to thank you for being with us today. And as your schedule permits, I know that you are really, really busy in the coming months. But we look forward to seeing you again and again.
We'll
Class,
get back together,
I hope that you take this information seriously and begin your own research and study what you've learned and prepare for your survival. Cliff High, thanks so much. halfpasthuman.com. halfpasthuman.com. Thank you again, Cliff.
Thank you very much, Vincent.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number two today. And it's a special hour. I'm delighted to be broadcasting with Erin Dakins, a host of a broadcast on Genesis Communications Network, The Truth Traveler. She broadcasts from 10 Central Time at night to midnight. The Truth Traveler. Welcome, Erin Dakins.
Good morning, Vincent. It's winter.
It is winter. Erin, you and I have been broadcasting on another network, just one broadcast per week when our schedules align. And that broadcast we called The Bunker Files. And that name was developed with the assistance of one of our instructors, Dr. John Waterman, and he thought that we ought to call it The Bunker Files. And so there it is. So we would talk about things that were of interest to you and me, but what happened? What happened to The Bunker Files on another network? And I'm not saying anything negative about network. Nothing happened that made us do this other than us, right?
We just had to go to the bunker. I don't know. It seemed like it didn't matter what Friday of the month it was when we were scheduled to do our show. Something would always come up.
Mm-hmm. For one
inevitably,
of us.
for one of us, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got to the point where I felt bad, and I know you did too, that we'd have to say, hey, we need to go to rebroadcast. And Vincent and I talked long and hard about this and decided that we just need to have the Bunker Files on USA Prepares once a month and on the Truth Traveler once a month. And we get the best of both worlds. We still get to broadcast together, which we love doing. We still get to have the episode of the Bunker Files, but it seems like this schedule's a little bit easier, at least for me, Vincent.
Well, what would happen with me is, I'd call you and I'd say, Erin, the cows got out. The cows got out. We've got 100 cows that are looking at greener grass, and it's a real problem. I can't do it. Or you would have an emergency over there at your farm. And as farmers, it was really, really difficult for both of us to...
The middle of the afternoon is tough.
The middle of the afternoon is something I cannot do. That was the problem. And not only that, I had the same... and it's not like this is just with the broadcast. On Mondays, I used to do a meetup, and I would have to leave around the same time to go to Springfield from the farm. I couldn't do that either. So it was an issue of time and being away from the farm and being away from protecting the animals and so forth. It was very, very difficult. So what we've decided to do, as Erin said, is we're going to still do the Bunker Files, but we're going to do it at 10 o'clock at night Central Time once a month, and we're going to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time once a month. And it looks like Friday's the day for the Bunker Files so far. And, it'll be posted on the websites, Erin's website and mine, The Truth Traveler and USA Prepares. So, Erin, today's topic is about revenue. Specifically about what happens to people who are grabbed by the police, the Blue Plague, and handcuffed, tested for driving under the influence. Some people are under the influence. Some people are not under the influence. Some people have hypoglycemia. Some people have diabetes. The ketones in their body manifest themselves as a smell of either nail polish, which is kind of similar to alcohol. And these people are treated as if they are absolutely drunk and need to be dealt with very harshly by the system, which I think is wrong as well.
It is wrong, but they appear to be inebriated or intoxicated. Therein lies the problem. This goes back to discernment, Vincent. I'm a former EMT too, so we would deal with these issues a lot. And we, in fact, just ran into this back a year ago, February, where we followed a van down the highway, and then he just stopped in the middle of a 4-lane highway. And he got out of the van and was walking around it. We thought, well, maybe there's something wrong. And then he got back in and drove off. And then he did it again at a stoplight. And at this point, and he was driving kind of erratically. We thought, there's something wrong with him. So he actually pulled into a gas station. We followed him, and we actually got out and talked to him, and you could tell there was something really wrong. So we blocked his car, or blocked his van in so that he couldn't get out. But he even almost tried to run over my son. So, not being mean. I mean, he was an older gentleman, probably 70. We did call the police, but I also told him, look, don't send a bunch of squad cars. The guy's not drunk. I think he has a blood sugar problem. You need to send a bus. And they did. They actually listened to me. And they sent a bus, and sure enough, his blood sugar was like nothing. And his wife didn't even know he had left their home. I mean, she knew he left. She didn't know where he went. And he was a good 20 miles from home when we found him. So we actually drove his van with him in at home for him. But he appeared intoxicated, Vincent. It goes back to discernment, and the officers are not taught that, I don't think.
So, Erin, you're saying that you, as a member of the village, help someone without having him be arrested
Correct.
And then sent to court and have him blow in a breathalyzer, possibly, if his ketones were elevated, test positively very, very high, maybe 2 or 3 times what the legal limit might be, and then be found guilty in court because his attorney said, you know what, look, the judge is going to be easier on you if you plead guilty. And even if you're not guilty, you ought to plead guilty. Now it's really easy for the attorney. The attorney collects his $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's easy for the court because this person pleads guilty. Obviously, the person's guilty because he pled guilty, only because it was easier. And then he ends up going to mandatory classes for 8 weeks.
Can I throw a monkey wrench in that?
Sure.
I'm going to assume, and people can email me or you or call in or whatever, but I'm going to assume just like any other time you go through the court system, that every time there's something that's going on with you in the court system and you are charged under their codes, rules, and regulations, that they're also tapping into what's called the SESTA-QV accounts. So that's double tapping, double dipping. It's a lot of money. The judge is in on it. The county, the clerk of the county is in on it. So this behooves them to arrest you for being inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Whether
what you're
you are
paying
or
on
not.
the outside, that's right, what you're paying up front for court costs and counseling and all that stuff, double or triple it in the money that they're getting as kickbacks through your SESTA-QV accounts.
And just the stigma attached to being arrested is something that lives with you for a very, very long time. Let me give you an example. So you're applying for a job. One of the questions on the application, have you ever been arrested? If you lie in the application, you're doomed. If they find out later, they'll fire you. So do you say, yeah, but you know, I have a sugar problem, and this cop arrested me, threw me in the back of a police car, I ended up in court, I spent some time in the clink, but I didn't do it. Now, who's going to believe that, right? Who's going to believe that the person was wrongfully arrested, wrongfully charged, wrongfully accused, wrongfully convicted, had to go to counseling, which they pay for? Who's going to believe that? So now we have a whole class of people who are flipping burgers at these fast food joints because they can't get any other kind of job, because they're not trustworthy. How could they be trustworthy since they've been arrested?
That's right.
Isn't that what people are thinking?
Well, you know, jobs are hard to find. You've got PhDs working as, you know, waiters or waitresses. So, yeah, it makes it even worse when you have this.
I know,
and what about the guy that literally took, I've heard this too many times, they literally went out to dinner, and he had a glass or two of wine with dinner, and then he got popped, and he got arrested for DUI. Now, Vincent, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my parents would go out to dinner, and my dad and mom would have a glass or two of wine. My parents were not drunk. They were not inebriated in any way, shape, or form, but they probably would have blown hot if they had the breathalyzers right now.
Now, what era are you talking about? How many years ago?
Really? You want me to? No, I'm just kidding. Gosh, they did that probably, you know, like 40 years ago.
Okay, that was a whole different world, right? Because
it was.
I remember the era of we'll call them cocktail parties, where someone in the neighborhood would invite the neighbors over, you know, friends from work, friends from up and down the street and 2 streets over, people who were like them, people who had common interests, and they'd get together and they'd have a wonderful time. And would there be wine? Sure. Would there be punch? Sure. Would there be beer? Sure. Absolutely. And everybody'd go home and everything was fine. Husbands and wives would come together. It was like the parents would get together, you know, maybe once a month on a non-regular basis, but friends. And it was the best time of the United States of America. Yes. And since then, we've destroyed it, right?
Yes.
Who wants to? I don't want to have anything when I go out. Would I have a beer if I went out? Absolutely not. I won't do it because I don't want to run the risk of the blue plague pulling up behind me and saying, "Did you have something to drink?" meaning alcohol. And if I had a beer 3 hours ago, I wouldn't want to say, well, yeah, I had a beer 3 hours ago, because they'd still breathalyze test
They
me.
would.
Right. And they probably, and I don't trust them. I don't trust them not to plant evidence. I don't trust these thugs to not plant evidence on these urine tests. I've told people that have these urine tests, if they hand you a cup and it's sealed, say, no, I don't want that one. I want a different one. I want a different sealed cup, not the one you're handing me, and I'm going to be there for the test. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is it. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. With Wall Street suffering its worst start to a trading year in history, now is especially the time to be paying attention to gold. This first time ever, U.S. legal tender government gold offered at cost for only $139 each is from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call them at 1-866-944-GOLD. Gold is on the move, so don't miss out. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD or online at usmoneyreserve.com. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book. Plus, get a free Walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book. Get your free gold book, your free $50, but most importantly, get your gold at cost for only $139 per coin. 1-866-944-GOLD.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Today. And she's the host of The Truth Traveler right here on Genesis Communications Network from 10 to midnight Central Time. And this is our first broadcast together on GCN with the Bunker Files. So we're going to do this once a month. This is episode number 1. USA Prepares Bunker Files, episode number 1. Now, Erin, we should have another episode pretty soon. What do you think?
Well, we're having one tonight. Does that count as one episode 1? Or would that be 2? Because the Bunker Files was 2 hours. So I guess
so this is
all day.
1A.
Would be, yeah, okay.
1A. 1B is tonight. Okay. So with Erin Dakins, I'll be joining her tonight at 10 o'clock Central Time, right here on Genesis Communications Network. So The Truth Traveler, it will be the Bunker Files episode 1B, because we broadcasted 2 hours of Bunker Files. So it'll be Fridays as far as we know right now. So, Erin, I was thinking, our son decided that after being homeschooled, you met our son, both of them, and one of them decided he wanted to experience high school. He'd been homeschooled all his life, and he wanted to try high school here in Missouri. And he did, and all of a sudden, Mrs. Finelli and I were asked to be on the drug testing committee, and we were against drug testing. We were for drug education. We were against drug testing because we wanted to know things like, okay, so what about false positives? What about inhalers? What about, what happens to a student who tests positively but falsely?
What about somebody that had poppy seed dressing?
That's what I'm talking about. And that person will be branded for life as a druggie by those teachers. Okay? No question about it. Did you hear about so-and-so? Positive test for drugs. Boy, the mother and father, they must be drug addicts too. So that's the kind of stigma that can be attached to a person. So we were against drug testing, but we were for drug education and alcohol education. I saw a video when I was in high school called Scared Straight. It certainly worked for me. It was about prisoners who said, don't do what I did. Look at the mess I'm in. And it really fixed it for me. Well, here's what happened. They would have these drug testing committee meetings, and they'd forget to invite us. Or they would send the invitation to the wrong town, so we wouldn't get them. So we missed all the meetings. And I was so outraged, I decided to run for a school board office. And I put an ad in the paper, and I said, fire the entire Hartville school board. One director at a time. Consider voting for Vincent Finelli, the only candidate who won't make your child urinate in a cup. I was absolutely frosted. And here's some of the thoughts I had. Okay, I said to him, oh, by the way, my son is under 18. And you want to have random drug testing and you decide you're going to do this? All right, you're going to have to call me first. You will not drug test my son without me being there, because you will not have a false positive or a mishandling or planting of evidence. You will not do that. He is a minor, and you will not drug test him without me or Mrs. Finelli being there. And they said, do you realize what a problem this is? And you will do this for every other student as well. And they said, are you kidding? We can't do that. That alerts the students when they're going to be drug tested. And I said, that's right. What a problem. And I said, and what about the evidence? So you've got all these cups of DNA. Now what are you going to do with them? Well, if we have a positive, we send it off to the lab. What lab? Well, we don't know. You're going to send off DNA of children, and you don't even know where you're sending it? No, you're not. And I fought this as best I could. But, there are a lot of stupid teachers out there. And there are a lot of stupid principals and superintendents who are chomping at the bit for federal grants. And I believe the money comes from the feds.
Yes, it does.
It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. So what do, Erin? We run for school board office and we fire the principals and the superintendents, right? That's what we do. That's our job. Our job is to protect our children. And our job is to make sure that we educate our children. And we throw out Common Core, and we throw out the Department of Education, and we throw out the lunch program, and we start cooking good meals, and we take care of our children. Like the two ladies who had leftovers from serving lunch in elementary school, and they decided to take it home rather than throw it out. You know what happened to them? They got fired. They got fired for stealing food. The federal government says you will throw out this food that's unused. You will throw it out.
I think that's crazy. Anyway.
By the way, that if you want to know what the Bunker Files is, would you say sometimes we rant?
I would say it's an opinion piece, an op-ed. Because I think throwing the food away is crazy when there's hungry.
Hey, Erin, when we come back, would you bring us back?
I sure can.
Okay, Erin Dakins. We'll be right back.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Purchase a ProPure system during the Crazy May sale and get a free ProMax shower filter or water filter pitcher. Remove up to 200 contaminants with the Pro 1G 2.0 truly cleanable, reusable filter. We don't stretch our claims, we just deliver performance. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-945-9289. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-945-9289. That's 1-800-945-9289.
Do you have dry hands or itchy, peeling skin? Are your cracked feet in need of a makeover for sandal season? Hi, my name is Diane Cook, the creator of Bee Spa Hand and Foot Cream. Bee Spa is all natural, 16% beeswax, marigold extract, and other essential oils and nutrients. Bee Spa is great for exceptionally dry hands and feet, but Bee Spa can be used anywhere on the body. I am sure you will see a difference overnight. Bee Spa is the only cream you will ever need. The convenient 2.5-ounce size jar travels nicely and a little goes a long way. Bee Spa Hand and Foot Cream costs $29.99. Use promotion code 101 for free shipping. Order Bee Spa Hand and Foot Cream today at beespa.com. That's BEESPA.com. That's BEESPA.com.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
Welcome back to the USA Prepares edition of Bunker Files 1A. I'm Erin Dakins, and we are with Vincent Finelli. And it's the Bunker Files, and we're complaining about DUI. It's gotten to be such big business now. That's the thing. It's revenue generation at its finest. Maybe we
Erin,
don't have there you are.
I'm here. Erin, our son, when he was in high school, was selected along with another highly graded student. I mean, our son got really good grades, and so did another girl. And those two were selected for random drug testing way, way more than everyone else, maybe 4 or 5 times more. And so I went to the school board and I said, what's up with this drug testing? And they said, well, it's random. And I said, are you kidding me? Our son has been tested so many times, and so is this other girl, and you're telling me this is random? They said, well, that proves it's random. They get they get selected more times than anybody else. That proves it's random. And I said to this school board member, have you ever had a class in statistics? And he said, what? I said, statistics. He said, what do you mean? I said, have you ever had a class in statistics? He didn't know what I was talking about. I said, well, never, that explains it. You have no clue. You have no clue what's going on. So what they do, literally, is they get, and this is my belief, that they get government money to run these drug testing programs. And then what they do, in order not to show that they have a drug problem, they pick the best students, the ones who are not going to test positively for drugs. And they run them through this alleged random drug testing system. They say, well, the system provides a number of a student, and that student is called into the little bathroom where they pee in a cup. Well, I suggest parents that you say if your child is under 18, that you say, you know what, you're not going to do it. You are not going to test my child for drugs without my presence. And I want to see the exact chain of that testing. I want to see the cups coming from sealed containers in a box, and then I want to see the opening of that sealed container. I want to see the sealed container with the testing instruments. I want to see every step of the way, every single step of the way. And if we do that, we will shut this system down, because they won't be able to do it. They'll have to have all the parents line up. The parents will start complaining. The parents will complain to the superintendent and the principals that this is annoying. They have to leave work for this, and it's going to stop. And I want to know what's going on with that DNA. Where do these samples go? And let's go back to the people who were pulled over by the cops. So what happens, Erin? They get handcuffed, right? Handcuffs where? They're allegedly inebriated. Allegedly, their motor skills are impaired. So these cops use hinged handcuffs and put their hands behind their backs. So if they did fall down, there's no way they can stop the fall, right? Because they're handcuffed.
That's right. You can't.
Then what happens? They put them in a police car, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what's the police car like? I've seen one. Can you describe what you have seen in a police car where they put people in handcuffs?
It's basically just a rectangular piece of plastic formed as a seat in the back seat, and it's hard plastic, and it's slippery plastic, and that's it. There's nothing else.
It's a sliding board. It's a sliding board.
And you slide off the seat onto the floor into the cage that separates you from the front seat. It's not a pleasant place to be.
You're in a cage, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there's bars on the windows.
Yes.
No way to access a door lever to open the door or the window, right? Right.
Yeah.
And what happens What happens if it's really hot out? You're going to cook, right?
You do cook. It gets really hot in there. There's no air circulation. They don't crack your window for you. Usually.
Uh-huh. And these are people whom we have entrusted to protect us. And actually, they're harming us.
Yeah, I don't see any protection in that myself. But anyway, they used to be. When we grew up, we knew the policemen.
Yeah.
They lived in the same communities we did. Their kids went to school with us. We're on the same sports teams. Anymore, at least in our little town, they may live here and their kids go to the school, but they strut around like they're the gods and that we should worship them. And I'm not going to worship anybody just because you wear a uniform. My husband was in the military. I just call them green people. And I'm not going to worship them. And I sure as heck don't care if it's a general. When I had an issue, I didn't care who it was. I had one general tell me to stand down, and I said, I don't take orders from you. I'm a civilian, and I will not stand down. So, to me, the cops are just more thugs in uniforms. I appreciate the soldiers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is right and wrong is wrong, and it's attitude, and it's morals. And anymore, these cops, a lot of them are the younger ones. They weren't raised like we were, Vincent. They were raised with video games, and both parents, if they had both parents, worked for the most part. Their set of ideals and morals and how you treat people is different. I remember the days where at the little town saloon, you have your regulars, right? Well, I remember the days that everybody in town knew who the regulars were, and either the cops walked them home, somebody in the bar gave them a ride home, or the cops gave them a ride home. Now it's they lie in wait, half a block down and watching everybody leave the bar so they can ticket them for DUI.
Okay, let's talk about that. Here's a police tactic that I've learned through my investigation of this criminal enterprise. What some cops do is they get reflective paint, and they will go to a bar and they will deface a vehicle's tires with this reflective paint or reflective chalk. They will mark the tires in two positions, like 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. They'll put this reflective paint on there. They will deface someone's private property, an automobile. And then later on in the evening, they will watch the cars go down. They'll park in the median, and they'll watch the cars. And when they see these striped tires go by, they follow them and pull them over. It's like a shooting gallery. That's what has happened to our police. These guys aren't protecting; they are sniping for profit. Yes. Sniping for profit, and they are measured on performance. They have these performance reviews. Hey, listen, Joe, we gave you a new car. We gave you a new radar gun. That holster, that gun belt, the handcuffs. It's all the latest stuff. You got the best of everything, Joe. And your production is not quite as good. Your performance is not quite as good as everyone else. So what's going on? Do you need counseling? Do you need help? What if we put you on the midnight shift in the combat zone? Maybe that would help you, get the spirit back where you can protect the people by giving them tickets and finding them through the court system into oblivion so they can lose their job, lose their family, lose their status in the community. You really need to help these people because they need that. They need to be bludgeoned by the blue plague. So unless you want to drive that old jalopy that we've got out there, the one that has exhaust gases that go into the driver's compartment, unless you want to drive that one, if you want that new one that we got for you, you're going to have to work on your production. You're going to have to, help people. You're going to have to have more contacts with them, more pullovers, more invasion, more criminal activity on the blue plague's part. I believe that's what happens. And I dare a cop to call and tell me I'm wrong. 866-582-9933. So if you're a cop, give us a call. Tell us we're wrong.
There you go. It's all about generating revenue. That's just it. It's not about helping. In their counseling classes, don't even start me on that. That's a ripoff.
Well, I have a counseling class test. And they ask questions, Erin, like they have 4 categories: B, R, L, and O. And they ask you which words apply to you. For example, are you loyal, even-keeled? Are you a good listener? Are you adaptable? Are you patient? Are you tolerant? Let's keep the things the way they are. Are you non-demanding? Okay, that's one of the categories that they give you this test, and if you're one of them, man, I believe they will milk your wallet to the extreme. And then there's another category which I fit in, which is called L. Oh, by the way, R stands for retriever, like a golden retriever. Really nice animal. Another category is the lion, L. Takes charge, assertive, bold, enterprising, leader, goal-driven, firm. Let's do it now. Self-reliant, enjoys challenges, decision maker, competitive, purposeful, adventurous, determined. That's a lion. I took the test and I scored the highest in the lion category. They would throw me out of that class really quickly because I would be disruptive. They would want to get rid of me. They'd like a lot more retrievers.
I'm sure they'd want to get rid of you.
I gave Norm Shealy the same test on the air, and he scored, at the highest level of lion as well. And I'm willing to bet that just about all of our instructors here at USA Prepares are lions. We just don't like taking abuse from thugs. We're willing to do the right thing. We are not willing to do the wrong thing.
True.
So what about these attorneys?
But wait a minute. Go back just a second. Go back to the screening and all the questions they ask you.
Uh-huh.
Are you tolerant? That's a good
Not
one.
really.
No, that's a good one. We'll be back.
No, I think it's hard. It's hard to be tolerant of queers, especially if they want to circle my house.
Circle wagons. Okay. All right. I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. Okay.
And maybe we lost a few affiliates. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, libertyoncall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to libertyoncall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's libertyoncall.org.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Class, Erin Dakins is with us. She's the host of The Truth Traveler, right here on Genesis Communications Network. And her broadcast is from 10 p.m. Central Time through midnight, Monday through Friday. And tonight, I'm going to be joining her for episode 1B of the Bunker Files. And you can listen the same way you're listening to this broadcast. If you're listening on the internet, GCNlive.com, GCNlive.com. And we'll be broadcasting together. Erin, have any idea what the subject matter is tonight?
Yeah, I do. I want you to talk about the new technology for charging batteries, and I'm going to talk about stuff spying on you. Because it's all related.
So it'll be spy technology. And absolutely outrageous, over-the-top invasion and threat to us is the technology I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I have a post that I put on the internet. It's called Hidden Dangers, Wireless Charging of Cell Phones and Other Electronic Devices. Now, class, this is so important, in my opinion, that you need to stop it at your school system. Go to those school board meetings and say, hey, just wondering, you guys plan on exposing our children to more dangers than you already are with the wireless access points you've got all over the school? Are you planning on charging devices wirelessly? Because if you are, I need to run against you for school board office and make sure that you are displaced. And also, if the superintendents and principals are in favor of this, we need to remove them too. And since we are the school board, any teachers who want to harm our children with this wireless technology, they need to go as well. So how are we going to do this? What's the plan? Did you say you are or are not going to do this? We need it in writing. What do you think?
I think it sounds pretty good. But maybe you need to be a little bit more tolerant, though.
That's another thing. I'm going to ask Mrs. Finelli to type this list up. She can type so much faster than I can. And these 4 categories. And I think this should be handed out to any attorney that we might consider hiring. So if someone decides to engage the overpriced services of an attorney for a DUI hearing, you need to hand this 4-category test to your attorney. And anyone who is not a lion, you do not want to hire. So you do not want to hire someone who dislikes change. You do not want to hire someone who is adaptable. You do not want to hire someone who is fun-loving. You do not want to hire someone who avoids detail.
Oh, no.
You do not
Devil's
want
in
to...
the details, let me tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask her if she would consider typing this up, and we'll put it on the internet so that you can give this test to anyone that you think might be on your team, to make sure they are on your team. And if they're not a lion, I don't think they're on your side.
My luck, I'd end up with a mouse. But anyway.
Well, I talked to an attorney, and he said, he doesn't like conflict. Really?
Well, and then he went the wrong profession. Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He said, he likes to go along, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Too many attorneys are not warriors. They need to be warriors.
Hey, they get paid well, whether they're warriors or not, so.
What a racket. What a racket. Someone says, hey, listen, I got a DUI charge. Can you help me? Sure. I'm great at that. $3,000, we'll get you in court and we'll represent you. And then they say, listen, the best thing is to take plead guilty and let's ask the judge to be nice to you. And so they get
Meanwhile, they just call for it the next day.
Well, I mean, that's $1,000.
So they've worked it out.
Yeah, that's $1,000 an hour that these attorneys make for doing nothing.
I wish I made that kind of money, Vincent. Hey, I'm going to go back to being tolerant. Okay, I will catch you tonight, Vincent. Thank you.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you're going to do it.
Probably not.
Hey, Erin, I'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock Central Time. I'll be connecting with your broadcast, The Truth Traveler. I'm looking forward to it. And Erin, thank you so much for being with us today. It's always great to be broadcasting with you. And class, for those of you who may wonder, Erin's been to the farm. She and her husband have been to the farm with a bunch of our other instructors, and she's a real hoot. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com. and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light Systems
system today, complete with 2 Black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.